For the past few years, Jaguar Wright.
What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another reaction on the Three Pyramids Network with your host, the ignorant, eclectic, mad genius himself, me. Yo, before we get into this, today we are talking about, we're back on The Truth Is. He had another one out. It says they never actually expected. I can't see because of the what's the name is right there. It's too bright, but we're gonna check this out. Hit me with a like, hit me with a sub, tell a friend, man. Let's do this.
Has been a lightning rod for controversy. She has
Jaguar Wright.
name-dropped the biggest figures in entertainment, claiming to pull back the curtain on an industry she describes as deeply compromised. After pivoting away from her music career, she managed to build a massive new platform as an industry whistleblower. But we have to ask the critical question: was Jaguar Wright actually dismantling the system, or was she simply building a new door into it? This isn't just about one individual. From the ideological shifts of Candace Owens to the rebranding of Russell Brand, a distinct pattern is emerging. These figures aren't necessarily exposing the industry. They're using the narrative of exposure as a high-stakes career pivot. Today, we are investigating the business of the whistleblowers and the figures who may be more performative than they are provocative. During the
Yeah, because Candace Owens, if you've seen her over the last, I want to say 9 months, or 9 months to a year or something like that, she's flipped completely. And it's just like, whoa, I did not see this coming whatsoever. But yeah.
fall of Diddy, we witnessed the rapid ascent of Jaguar Wright. She was a highly talented artist who for years struggled to find a foothold in the mainstream. But what she did find was a compromised system bound by a code of silence. She turned that silence into her ultimate lifeline, becoming known for calling out the very corruption that others were too terrified to even acknowledge. A few years back, an interview she did with Real Life Productions seemed like just another viral clip, but little did she know, it would change her life forever. While it initially gained some traction, it wasn't until Diddy's legal situation intensified that this interview truly exploded. Millions watched as her warning about him appeared prophetic, and almost overnight, she gained a reputation as a credible whistleblower. Because her claims about Puff seemed validated, she successfully launched a second career as the internet's premier industry critic. In 2024, the best thing that could have happened for her brand finally occurred. Puff was arrested. This was the moment Jaguar transitioned from YouTube niche to mainstream fixture. Major media outlets were suddenly calling her name, and she landed on massive stage like Piers Morgan's Uncensored. She became the face of the resistance, pulling in millions of views and riding a wave of public fascination. But as the spotlight intensified, people began to notice a recurring problem. She could never actually provide the proof. Her receipts were always based on the claim of simply being there, and that narrative began to crumble when her specific stories were debunked. With her credibility fracturing, her second chance at that spotlight began to fade. Today, Jaguar is still doing the interview circuit, calling out anyone she thinks would keep her relevant. It leaves us with a critical question. Was she ever truly exposing the industry? Or was she just riding a viral wave to make it last? While many believe she was a genuine truth seeker, and I'll admit, at one point I did too, the inconsistencies became impossible to ignore. She presented herself as a Christian woman, standing against spiritual corruption.
Leaving Richard Nichols, I'm a Christian, he's an atheist. How can I let him make life choices for me?
But in the very interviews used to expose the system, she exposed herself. During an interview with the Too Strong platform, she made admissions that completely contradicted the values she claimed to represent.
I do not practice the same form of spirituality that everyone else does. What I am would terrify most of you, if you actually knew. Matter of fact, if any of you actually knew what I truly am, you wouldn't ask me stupid questions like that at all. See, when you open the door to certain questions, you better be sure you're ready for the answer. And if you want to know how I know Beyonce is a witch, I'll say it as simple as this. It takes one to know one.
Jaguar and I had a brief back and forth after I made a video pointing out these very inconsistencies. Her reaction wasn't to offer facts, it was to launch into a series of baseless claims about me. She even went as far as to imply she was into the same occult beliefs she previously condemned, all while trying to claim she never said she was a Christian, despite the footage of her saying exactly that years
Why is
prior.
she in the shower in the bath?
The truth is, y'all can't handle the truth. why I can honestly say, if you're using the word Christian and talking about me, you're a fool. I'm nobody's Christian. Nope. I'm a Christian. He's an atheist. How can I let him make life choices for me? Because the goal on this planet is not to be Christ-like. It is to be demon-like. I practice the old way. I have studied and still study Egyptian sciences, or should I say Kemetic practice and knowledge and education. And I apply all of those things to my life daily. You're doing videos about me, you put my name and title because I'm trending and it's going to get views. That's all. It's the math. Nothing more, nothing less.
To me, the motive is clear. She saw a path to fame and took it. Her desire to be a part of the machine she critiques was always hiding in plain sight. The proof we need is seeing her buddy on the red carpet with Rick Ross, one of Puff's closest longtime associates. While she built a career attacking Puff, she had no problem posing for photos and acting like a star next to his inner circle. If the industry offered her a record deal tomorrow, I believe she'll take it in a heartbeat. She doesn't want to destroy the industry. She just wants her seat at the table. The moment mainstream media began embracing—
Yeah, but that's all celebrities and like the people who be calling out celebrities. That's like what's buddy's name? We just seen him. Orlando Brown. He used to be a big celebrity, a big child star. Now he's not a star, but he's still a celebrity. But he be saying some wild and he be doing wild things. But you know, like that's just all to get like the shock value and to like bring people in.
her with every major platform wanting a sit down, I knew she wasn't what she presented herself as. In this industry, when you tell the truth and you aren't an asset to the machine, they ignore you entirely. Were some of the things she said true? Yes, but it was mostly things many of us already knew that was already circulating online. It wasn't the first-hand experience she claimed. It was just internet rumors that everyone knew had some truth to them. While Jag deserves credit for sparking people's quest for accountability, she also needs to be questioned for the times she wasn't being honest and possibly made things up just for attention. Jaguar Wright is ultimately an artist whose career didn't work out, and she saw a fresh opportunity to stay relevant through YouTube gossip. It's the same pattern we see with Orlando Brown. Orlando Brown was one of the many cases of a child star gone wrong. Thrust into fame at only 7 years old, he got his big role on That's So Raven and worked on other Disney shows. By the time he was 19, his career was effectively non-existent. The show had ended and the roles got fewer and fewer until he completely disappeared. Things quickly went sideways when he finally popped back up. While he returned to the spotlight, it wasn't on Disney. This time, it was arrest after arrest for petty crimes and other public issues. Because people were captivated by the sight of another child star falling apart, Orlando was invited to do an interview with Vlad TV. He turned it into a viral explosion after suggesting that he and Raven had a romantic past. That moment spread instantly, giving Orlando Brown a new career overnight. He realized that the further he
was like, and then he did the meat thing with Ray J. Yeah.
took things, and the wilder he came off, the more attention he received, which meant more appearances and more money. Once he ran out of stories about himself, he turned his focus towards others. He suggested he was mistreated as a child star and taken advantage of by many powerful elders in the business. To be clear, I do believe Orlando was left with serious lasting trauma from his time in the industry. I even made a full video on the specific moment he actually tried to speak out. But while he touches on serious systemic issues, he also turned himself into a class clown who is willing to say anything for a viral headline. If you want to hear my thoughts on the claims I actually found serious, check out my other video on him after this one. But the problem with Orlando is that he often says whatever he thinks will get him the most attention. Often, what he says doesn't even make sense, and this is what throws me off about his narrative. I know the industry is a flawed system, and I agree with Orlando there. But when he speaks in bizarre riddles, I don't know what he's talking about. Orlando has proven he can't be trusted because he will do and say anything for profit. He literally proved this by joining the cast of Baddies, which is the absolute peak of brain rot media. But the real confirmation that he was just catering to the algorithm was dependent on his chain right here. If that logo doesn't confirm he was a part of the club, and it's the reason he's even allowed to keep a platform, nothing will. That symbol tells you everything you need to know about Orlando. He's an actor who turned himself into an online personality to quote-unquote expose the industry. It is the exact same blueprint we're seeing with Russell Brand. Russell Brand is perhaps the most polished example of this entire blueprint. Long before he was a truth seeker on Rumble, he was the industry's ultimate golden boy. He was a Hollywood A-lister, a mainstream host, and a willing participant in the very system he now calls the Matrix. But as his mainstream career began to cool, and the 2023 investigations into his past started to move from rumors to reality, Russell didn't
Yeah, his if you know about his backstory, boy, his backstory was a little wild. He was doing some wild things with people.
just fade away. He pivoted. He traded the Hollywood red carpets for a spiritual guru persona, claiming to be an anti-establishment voice fighting global corruption. But the timing of this awakening is the real smoking gun. He didn't start calling out the system when he was at the top of Hollywood. He started when the system was about to throw him to the wolves. By framing himself as a target of the establishment before the headlines even hit, he created a built-in defense for his upcoming June 2026 trial. To his followers, he's a martyr being silenced for speaking the truth. But to anyone paying attention, he's a man who saw the legal walls closing in and built a new kingdom in the truth seeker space to protect himself from the fallout. To me, it's clear he saw this as his only path to survival. The most obvious contradiction is that Russell Brand was a part of the machine. For decades, he profited from the same dark industry practices he now critiques, and he only saw the light once his mainstream bridges were burned. He hasn't actually exposed anything that wasn't already public record. He's just using the narrative of exposure as a high-stakes legal shield. He didn't leave the industry because of a moral awakening. The industry moved on from him, and he's now just using the truth as his final rebrand, just like we saw with Candace Owens. If Russell Brand is a spiritual pivot, then Candace Owens is the blueprint for the ideological rebrand. Before she was the leading voice of Black conservatism, Candace was actually running a lifestyle blog called Degree 180, where she frequently criticized the very conservative values she champions today. She was even a vocal critic,
AKA a big grifter. But everybody's a grifter nowadays, so I'm not surprised.
of this administration's leader in her early political stages. But the real shift happened when her 2016 business venture, Social Autopsy, a website designed to dox and track online bullies, failed spectacularly. After facing massive backlash from the left for the privacy concerns surrounding her site, she didn't just walk away. She completely transformed her identity. Almost overnight, she abandoned her democratic image and rebranded as a red-pill truth seeker, claiming she had finally seen through the lies. But just like with the others, the timing and the financial ties tell a much different story than her awakening narrative suggests. Shortly after her pivot, Candace met George Farmer, the son of a British billionaire, and was engaged to him just 18 days later. This marriage didn't just give her a new last name, it gave her direct access to a level of global elite funding that most grassroots activists could only dream of. She then saw her big break after no other than Kanye randomly tweeted about her. This jump-started her career. While she claims to be fighting for the forgotten citizens, she has quietly leveraged her platform to support the very institutes that profit from systemic issues. The most glaring example of this was her partnership with the private prison industry. At the height of her influence, Candace was seen promoting the benefits of private prisons, appearing in promotional material for companies in that industry. This raises a massive red flag. How can you claim to be the voice of Black liberation while simultaneously being on the payroll of the private prison complex? To me, it's clear that Candace isn't interested in exposing the system. She is interested in securing her place within a new, more profitable one. From her rapid marriage into billionaire status and the Kanye stimulus package to her promotion of corporate interests, Candace has proven that the truth she sells is always secondary to the brand she's building. At the end of the day, the pattern is undeniable. Whether it is the chaotic claims of Jaguar Wright and Orlando Brown, or the polished, high-stakes shifts of Russell Brand and Candace Owens, the goal often isn't to break the system, it is to profit from it. We are living in an era where the truth has become a commodity, and exposing the industry is the most effective way to build a new one. These figures didn't walk away from the machine, they just built their own versions of it. The next time you see a viral clip promising to reveal everything, ask yourself if this is a whistleblower risking it all, or just another calculated rebrand. Don't trade one set of influencers for another. Think for yourself. Look at the receipts, and remember to be sure who you're following. I feel like Erica Kirk is another one that should be on this list. It seems like she has other motives with how she's running TPU today. Recently, Drewski did a skit about Erica Kirk, and parodied everything that I found off of her. If you want to see the exact moment Drewski's Erica Kirk skit became
And literally, within like the want to say the last couple weeks or whatever of this happening, like the whole Erica Kirk thing, fucking my bad. People have been saying that, well, certain individuals are coming up and saying that they want to do blackface and things of that nature, but every like it was that Erica Kirk is just weird, but that's just me outside looking in.
too real. Make sure to watch this video right now. For those who want to support unfiltered content, make sure to like this
Yo, hit him with a like, hit him with a subscribe, or hit me with a like, hit me with a subscribe. His link for this video will be in the link in the description below. Appreciate, love, and appreciate each and every last one of y'all. I am about to go ahead and go take care of some business, and I'll catch you on the next one, man. Peace. Hit me with a super hype if you can. You know your boy Poe. Yeah.